What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is your Love and Hip Hop Miami Season 2, Episode 2 review. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hope you like this video. So look, let's just start from the top and keep it moving. So we start the episode off. We see Trick with his son. We see Gunplay come through. You know, he like, look, since me and Kiara broke up, I ain't had a whole lot of home cooked meals. We know that Trick, if he can do a lot of things, we know that man can cook his ass off. And so he was going by the house, chop it up with him, get a little meal or whatever. Two things came out of that conversation that I thought were pretty good. The first one was both Gunplay and Trick are bragging on their sons, their two children. Not because they can play football, not because they can rap, not because they got a bunch of hoes, but because they are scholars and they have been recognized for being scholars. Somewhere down the line, I'm not going to go off on no tangent, but somewhere down the line, it has become not cool to be smart. And as an educator, I see it all the time. I see it every day. Kids don't want to, there's still a large population, a large group of kids who do want to be recognized for being smart. That's not what I'm saying. But more times than not, it's like it's cool to be the dumb kid, or it's cool to get bad grades. So I really appreciate the conversation where both of them were bragging on their sons for doing well in education. Not because they could carry a ball or bounce a basketball or pick up a mic. Now, Trick was, he was proud of his son, because his son, picked up the mic at the Take It to the House, concert. He was like, he can't rap, but I'm more proud of the fact that he's a scholar and he's been recognized for that. So big ups. I really appreciated that. I really thought that was a great thing that they put in there. The second thing was Gunplay was telling Trick about what happened with him and Kiara. And Trick told him point blank, like, look, he who find a good woman find a good thing. I know that's a paraphrase of the quote, but of the Bible, but I'm just saying. But at the end of the day, that's what he was telling him. He was like, look, I know things ain't really work out between me and my wife, but had it not been for my wife, I'd have been in jail somewhere. Like, I know I'd have been back in jail. Like, I brought my ass home because I knew I had somebody waiting for me at home. I knew I had a good woman waiting for me. And he was like, so you need to go work that out. Like, you need to go fix it. And Gunplay wants to fix it. Like, he's making no qualms about the fact that he loves his woman. Like, he does. He know he screwed up, and the other conversation they had, they talked about the Take It to the House performance with Trina, whatever. And Trick was like, Trina was late. Then she want to change the set, change the set and everything. And now, she want everybody to treat her like the Diamond Princess. She got too many people around her kissing her ass, and I ain't gonna do it. I still don't get this. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know if Trick is jealous. I don't know if Trick just don't want to put the energy into making music. I don't know if Trick just can't accept the fact that you're going to have to compromise on the music. I don't know if Trick hasn't accepted the fact that music has moved past. I don't know. I really haven't figured out what the issue is with Trick and this whole situation. To hear Trina's side of it, she may have been late to the performance, but Trina did show up for the rehearsals, and that's how she even got the order of the set changed to begin with. She had to been there for them to change the order of the set, and she wanted to play some of her new music. Had you come to the studio and y'all made some new music, y'all could have done y'all new stuff, but you didn't have nothing. She did. She wanted to perform it. Anyway, we'll get back to them because I don't get it. I just don't understand. The next thing we see, let me say this. I'm over JoJo. I'm over JoJo. If this episode is any indication on what we're going to see from JoJo the rest of the season, I'm not here for it. I'm just not. Bobby and Prince are at the studio. Bobby's rehearsing, getting ready for a performance. Prince is there just hanging out with his friend, goofing off or whatever, chilling, whatever. You could tell that he's there a lot because he knew the dance moves with the dancers and everything else. JoJo shows up. The JoJo runs up on them, trying to. I guess she calls herself gonna confront Bobby about what he said to Tip. Like, Mommy, Tip came at me talking about talking about you said I said this and like, just, that whole, you said I to watch out for Bobby and Prince and Prince was like, well, wait a minute, who talk about me? Like, why is my name in y'all mouth? And Prince was like, why would you say that it's about that I have a problem? I mean, that I'm using Bobby. He was like, do you know how much flack I get for being friends with Bobby? Do you know all the stuff I deal with on social media and everything else because I'm friends with Bobby? How dare you say that this is about me trying to get some clout or something being with Bobby? He was like, I get more shit being friends with Bobby than I get anything out of it. He was like, I don't need nothing from Bobby. So then JoJo starts talking about some, get out my face, get out my face. I promise y'all, Prince was about as close to JoJo as I am to you right now. So I was like, okay, that sound, see, I ain't trying to go racial, but see, that sounds like that damsel in distress. I mean, I know JoJo ain't white, but that sounds like that damsel in distress. Oh, don't let the black man come up on me. And she get loud, and then here comes security. And I'm thinking to myself, if he reached out to hit you, he couldn't touch you. That's how far away from him. Then she starts walking up to him talking about, stay out my face, get out my face. Then why the fuck you walking up on him, bitch? See, I ain't here for that. I don't like it. That's just a setup to me. That's that setup shit to me. I'm not here for it. Then she pushes Prince. And instead of Prince responding, Prince, he gets upset and he rips his shirt off and stuff, but he leaves. He actually runs out of the studio. I can respect that because he was probably thinking, before I put my hands on this bitch, let me get up out of here. And then JoJo talking about some, see, all this drama. Bitch, you started it. You walked up in there in the middle of, while they were doing what they were doing. He was in the studio. Prince was just dancing and hanging out. You rolled up in there with that bullshit. Excuse me, you rolled up in there talking all that shit. You put your hands on him, and then when he leaves or he dismisses himself from the situation, now he got drama? I don't know. I'm not feeling JoJo. I'm not feeling it. I don't like it. I don't like that shit at all. And then later on in the episode, when she's talking to Amara, she make it seem like he got in her face. And I'm gonna tell you what I do appreciate. Amara saw that shit for what it was, and Amara was like, you were wrong. You was doing too much and you were wrong. I said, I can appreciate that. I can 100% appreciate the fact that as her friend, you heard what she said, and you were able to read through her bullshit enough to say, you wrong. You were wrong. And you were the aggressor and you did too much. And then JoJo gonna say, I guess I was. Bitch. Anyway, we'll get back to that. So then, Spectacular. Okay, let me just tell y'all now, this whole Pretty Ricky situation, I don't give a fuck about. And I'm going to tell you a couple of reasons why. One, I never listened to Pretty Ricky, so for me, it's not like New Edition getting back together. It's not like, I don't give a fuck. And then when I see, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, so Spectacular is talking about, from Pretty Ricky, in case you don't know who that is, because I didn't. Spectacular is, him and his fiance live in California. They're on the East Coast. On the West Coast. It seems to me like they should have just been a part of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. But we see him meet with Lil Fizz and with Ray J. And he's like, I just want to chop it up with the OGs. They know what it's like to be in a boy group. Ray J know what it's like to be in this industry. And I just want to chop it up with them because I really want to find out, I really want to bring the group back together. Pretty Ricky had got back together. We were doing good. And then we had another little blow up in Cincinnati. And ever since then, it's just been a problem. And I just really want to try to make things work. I really want to just go out here. Now, from my understanding, Spectacular is actually the only one out of the group that's really established, like, if I remember back from last season, he has like a whole separate business that he's been doing. He's been making some good money. I saw some product placement, the t-shirt and the hat he was wearing the whole episode. So he's actually doing pretty well without Pretty Ricky, from my understanding. So I don't know why he give a damn. Like the people, anyway. So, um, Ray J, of course, they give them, they give him their little, 2 cents or whatever. They do their whole little thing. And then he was talking about his fiance. He was like, well, we have our ups and our downs, but that's my girl. And Ray J was like, look, it's gonna be some ups and some downs, but if that's who you rocking with, that's who you rocking with. Ray J ass. So then he was saying, he brought up his father, which of course I didn't know any of this stuff because I just didn't follow Pretty Ricky. I knew who they were. I like a couple of their songs, but I just didn't really follow them like that. I don't know them like that. But he was saying that his father was their manager, and how when the group broke up, it really fucked up their family. What I also didn't know was that Blue, baby Blue, that's in the group, is his brother, I guess. I didn't know that either. And he said that, his father went to jail. When his father got out of jail, he lived with his mother. Blue went to go live with the father. And when Pretty Ricky broke up and the management situation broke up, that it really messed up their family. And then he went on to talk about how his father, really treated him more like business than like father son, and that's always been an issue with them too. So I guess we're going to further explore that as the season goes on, because we didn't really meet the father or anything like that, but I'm sure it's going to come up later on for them to spend that much time on the storyline, right? All right, then we meet Chaotic was the rapper we were introduced to last week, who seemed to be really cool with Trick. He had a lot of respect for Trick. He, recognized Trick as the ambassador of Florida, and that he is, and all of that. So that's going to be interesting in a minute. We hear a little bit about his story. He's, born and raised in Miami, been rapping his whole life. He said his brother got him into rapping, who unfortunately his brother got into some trouble, and he's doing, I think he said 30 years in jail. So that sounds like some murder to me. He said, but his brother was the one that got him into rapping. Miami Tip. His sister does hair. And so she's getting her hair done, and so they having this conversation, and he's saying how, he really wants to, make the rapping work and whatever, and, his whole story said he didn't have a father growing up, that whole thing. Come to find out, though, he got a crush on Joy. Now, I find that very interesting because you got so much respect for Trick and all this other stuff, but you pushing up on his ex-wife. Is the divorce final yet? I don't know. But again, I can't see that being a good thing. Like, I just can't see that being a good situation. So, we'll see how that play out. All right. Amara and JoJo. Now, I done already started telling y'all a little bit about that conversation. JoJo tried to give Amara her side of the story about what went down with Bobby and with Prince. And Amara was like, look, I done already told you Bobby messy as shit. That's why I stopped fucking with him. Me and him got into it. And then he gave me some old half-ass apology on social media. And they showed his apology. And he was talking. You know how people give you that sideways compliment talking about something? I tried to support your trash music. The fuck? That's supposed to be an apology? But Bobby extra song. And to be perfectly honest with you, in this episode, Bobby really wasn't the extra one. In both scenes that Bobby was in, Bobby was not the extra one in either scene. But they were talking or whatever, so they had that conversation. Mara told her she was wrong. So then JoJo went on to tell her about the situation that happened at the sister talk or whatever with Jessie Woo. And the minute she said Jessie Woo name, Amara rolls her eyes like, oh, here we go with this bitch. So that already let me know that that is something there, that she know was something there, whether she did something to her or she felt like Jessie did something, whatever, however it went down. But there's something there. There's some shit with them. And she went on to tell Amara, what was said, that Jessie feels like Amara did some disrespectful shit or whatever. Amara was like, what? She was like, what is she talking about? Well, supposedly you tried to push up on her boyfriend. She was like, I did what? And then they brought up the Gunplay thing, where she's in Gunplay's DMs or whatever. Now, here's what I find interesting. Amara never denied doing nothing. She didn't say, I'm not in his DMs, or I didn't try to talk to her boyfriend. She ain't never say that. She was like, see, here we go with this bullshit. Here we go with this drama. But you never said you didn't do it. Now, Mara, you my girl, and I be rocking with you. But again, gotta keep my good eye on you with that one. Because I don't know why you didn't just say it wasn't me. I ain't do shit. And the fact that you automatically rolled your eyes when Jessie Woo name came up, tell me you ain't no 100% innocent in this situation either. Now, Miami Tip, I respect your hustle. Miami Tip done took her little 5 minutes from last season. She done went from a friend of the show to a main character. And she done rolled out a podcast. I'm not mad at you, boo. I'm not mad at you at all. And you know you're rolling this show and you playing it well. So far, so good. Now, we see a conversation between Miami Tip and Jessie Woo. She brought her on her podcast. They did the little podcast. Then they had the little conversation after the podcast. Now, the conversation after the podcast had to deal with the fact that Jessie Woo was telling Miami Tip that that JoJo invited her to have a sit down with Amara so they could kind of clear the air, whatever. And Miami Tip was like, I tell you what, y'all want, Amara want to play innocent and act like, she's America's sweetheart or whatever. She was like, but I know how JoJo roll and I know how Amara roll. So Jessie Woo, just watch your back. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say about that situation. Like, it is what it is. And then Jessie Woo went on to talk about the idea that she felt like her manager stole from her that Amara took. Now, let me say this about shit. I said this on Love and Hip Hop New York about the whole radio show podcast situation. Everybody and their cousin got a podcast. I got a podcast. Now, whether you making money off of your podcast, whether you have a lot of people listening to your podcast, whether you talking about anything, like all of that is relative. But having a podcast is not a big deal. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not mad at people who do it. Like I said, I do it. I'm just saying, don't get mad because somebody took your idea of a podcast. So I say that, and I'm rolling it into this with Jessie Woo was saying she been doing her sister's brunch for all these many years, and now all of a sudden Amara is doing her drunk talk, whatever. And she feels like she feels like the manager took her idea from the sisters brunch and Amara is using it. I don't see that, Jessie. Now again, maybe it's more to that story, but again, a whole lot of celebrities, if you look around, whether they be A-list celebrities on down to people on reality shows on down to local celebrities, do these all the time. They do these sister brunches. They do these empowerment seminars. They do these, pillow talks. Like, people do it all the time. And as far as talk shows are concerned, they come a dime a fucking dozen. Do you know how many people have done talk shows? And the formula is the same. You may bring something new to it. You may try to put a little twist on it. You may add something to it. But at the end of the day, if you ain't Phil Donahue, you ain't got nothing to talk about. Because from Phil Donahue on down, they come a dime a dozen. Phil Donahue was one of the first to really make it pop. Then we had Oprah, who we already ain't no need to even go down there. Sally Jesse Raphael, Ricky Lake. I could go on and on and on and on and on until we in 2019. We got Wendy Williams. We got The Talk. We got The Real. We got, The View. So what I'm saying is, whenever somebody sees something that's working, they always come up with another version of it. They say that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So my thing is, I don't feel like Amara did anything that was so vile to you. And I don't feel like her manager, again, unless there's more to this story that we just not getting, I don't feel like her manager did anything that was so vile. But Jessie Woo, okay, I'm going to let it play out. Because maybe it's more to this story that I don't know about. I'm going to let it play out. Now, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because I'm already talking too long. We see where Spectacular goes home. He's in Florida. He's meeting up with Blue, with his mom or whatever, and he's trying to get the group, get Pretty Ricky to sit down and have a conversation. But in the interim, we see a conversation with, we see where a conversation is had with his mother. Let me tell you what I'm tired of. I'm tired of these mothers blaming the girlfriends for every goddamn thing that they son do and don't do. I'm sick of it. Now, Spectacular mom mad at the fiance because she said, you took my son to California. The fiance was like, I did what? And on Mother's Day, you told me that y'all were going to be leaving. I feel like that's a conversation that my son should have told me himself, and we should have had a conversation one-on-one. I felt like you took that away from him when you told me on Mother's Day, and you took, she was like, and you could see that the fiance was like confused, like, I did what? She said, I didn't take him anywhere. We made that decision together. I didn't make him go. Like, it was so crazy. It just seemed like it came out of left field. It was like you were trying to make a scene, or you were trying to create a problem. But she seemed like she got an issue with the fiance about that. And then 5 minutes later, her and the fiance leave the room to go talk about the wedding. Miss me with it. Him and Blue talking about bringing the group together, and Blue was like, look, at the end of the day, I don't need it. Like, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of us always fighting. I'm tired of it never working. I don't need it. I'm over it. Spectacular is able to get the group to come together and have a sit down and talk it out. What it sounds like happened was that Pleasure was about to get into it with one of Blue's friends. Blue diffused the situation, but Pleasure was still mad at Blue about it. Maybe he felt like Blue should have never had his friend around. He said he felt like Blue didn't defend him like he should have defended him. Whatever the situation is, however the situation played itself out, it sounds like it was some bullshit. At the end of the day, what Spectacular said is what I believe to be true. Their situation goes deeper. It's not that. That wasn't the reason why they fell out. That was a result of them not getting along. That wasn't even the main piece. All right, let me hurry up because I've been talking too long. Then we see where Chaotic, Prince, and Bobby Lights and Mommy Tip, they all meet up at Chaotic had a performance. That's where he wanted Joy to come to his performance. They're all there, whatever. But that's when we find out. Remember last week Prince was saying he want to do something different. He wants to do something different. He wants to get out of promoting. Okay, he wants to make music. I don't know if he's talking about singing, rapping. I don't know what he's talking about doing, because we didn't hear him do anything. He just said he wants to get into music because he wants music to make him, he wants to make other people feel the way music makes him feel. Cool. Got it. So they kind of laughed about it, and Prince was like, I'm used to people laughing at me. They laughed at me, and I became the Fresh Prince of Miami. No, you weren't. But so I'll just, I just got to prove them right. I just got to prove them right. Prove them wrong. Then we see Joy and Chaotic. Joy was like, yeah, I know you. And pay him dust. And he was like, damn, she really did me like that. But I'm just like, I don't even think that's some fire you want to play with. Trick ain't going to be happy about you trying to push up on Joy in no way, shape, or form. But, okay, if y'all want to play that storyline out, let it play out. Then they sort of just rehashed what happened at the studio. And at first, Bobby was trying to say, wait, Prince, you was doing the most. Prince was like, what did I do? She came up in there. She tried to say I was running up on her. I didn't run up on her. What did I do to her? And then Bobby was like, well, yeah, she shouldn't have put her hands on you. Yeah, she was doing too much. So that's what I'm saying. Bobby wasn't even really over the top like he can be, like he was last season. He really has kind of calmed down so far. Because I'm sure he will turn up before it's over with. But that's just kind of, but Miami Tip was just kind of like, yeah, well, you might just want to stop fucking with JoJo. She just got a lot of shit with her. I see that for what it is. Trina and Trick sit down and have a conversation. Again, like I said, I don't understand what their beef is. Trina tried to talk to him because Trina is moving in with her boyfriend, and she talked to him about it, and he was like, look, everything you just said to me, you need to go say to Trick. And if it still don't work one last time, you still can't get Trick to hear what you're saying or understand what you're saying, then let it go. But right now, go talk to him about it. So Trina tries to talk to Trick, and Trick is all over the place. He's still coming up with 500 other excuses, 500 other reasons why this ain't happened, that didn't happen. And Trina was like, look, the record company done stopped calling. They don't care about the project anymore. They were ready to put money into promotion, into videos. They were ready to push this album. But now it's taking you so long to get into the studio, they don't even care no more about this project. And, you know, once the record company don't care no more, it's a wrap, you know. Y'all had momentum from last season. Y'all had the single from last season, and then it just went to shit. All right. Last but not least, Trina. So the conversation ended with Trina saying it's a wrap. It's over. She was like, "You could be Trick and Trina. I'm done." Okay. Well, last but not least, here's my last example of JoJo doing too much. Jessie Woo, you was doing too much too. Jessie Woo, JoJo, Amara was sitting down to talk. She heard what Amara had to say, and Amara was like, "So your man told you that I said it wasn't just my man. It wasn't just my man." And before Amara could say anything, JoJo's cutting in, talking like, "Well, you need to hear her out. You need to hear her out." It was Jessie was on 10 when it started. JoJo was on 10 when it started, and Amara was just sitting there like, "I don't get it." So Amara was like, "Look, if I did anything to disrespect you, I apologize. If I did something that you felt was inappropriate or out of pocket based on what your man told you, I apologize." Now, mind you, Jessie Woo never gave Amara an opportunity to give her side of the story, because it sounds like you going by what your man said that Amara said. Amara might have said it, but you never gave her an opportunity to say anything. So Amara was like, "You know what? Clearly, I'm not going to get a chance to say anything. So let me just say this. If I did anything to offend you or was out of pocket, I apologize." Jessie was like, "And you should, as you should." Amara was like, "So are we gonna move on? Like, are we gonna like let this go and move on?" She wasn't here for the drama. She wasn't here for the shit. She was like, "Can we just move on?" JoJo and Jessie Woo going back and forth. JoJo talking about you just need to bring your voice down. You need to calm down. You already being disrespectful. Jessie was like, "I don't care. I don't care." JoJo gets up and throws a drink. So then here comes security. So then Jessie starts throwing fucking bottles. Amara LaNegra gets hit with the bottle. Amara was like, "I'm the only one in here not arguing, and I got hit with the fucking bottle." She said, "That's what you get for trying to keep it classy." And that's where the episode ended. I don't know why I talk so much, but I did. I'm sorry. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments.